Because every penny counts. I travel further for less with the Hopper ticket.
Because making memories is important. I can afford to take the whole family on the bus or tram with family travel cards.
Because getting to work should be simple. I tap and go with contactless, so I'll be charged the best fare for the week all month.
The B Network is committed to keeping public transport affordable. Find out more at bnetwork.com/because. Because it's your B Network.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot. Suitcases, Tetris style.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
No going back this time. Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax, carpets.
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant. If things go to plan, it'll be smooth sailing.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411, Part 12 of Lucky and Liz, Part 18 of Lucky.
Do you remember whenever we said this is going to take us like a month?
Oh, God, no. We never said that.
I don't think we were expecting it to take this long.
I don't know. I feel like it was definitely going to take a while.
Yeah, I don't think we realized like Lucky separate from Liz was going to go as long.
But he's not, because we're including it.
Yeah.
So Lucky is 18 parts, but most of it's including Liz. If we do math, only 6 parts aren't.
You know how I love math.
So we're still, it's in the April to July 2000, but I don't know where we are right now. So we're still in that area.
Okay.
But yes, Juan got to sing for Ned because he was being held, and I forget.
Oh yeah,
all of that. But we ended with Liz telling Lucky, like reminding him about permanent lock. There was no permanent lock this week.
No, we didn't get it this week.
No. Oh well, we'll get it eventually. Ooh, Valentine's Day is a Friday.
Oh, that would be a great cliffhanger, like mushy gushy scene. Oh, I would love it.
Yep. Okay, we'll stick with that. So we pick up with Liz entering L&B and is talking to Emily about the future, and the more popular one becomes, the more fan and girl groupies that will be around. Nikolas and Elizabeth took a walk at the pier, probably Pier 54. Liz asked Nikolas to sit down so they could talk for a moment. Liz explained to Nikolas that Lucky told her point blank things were over between them. Nikolas immediately rebutted by saying that Lucky still needed time to recover. And Liz interjects that there is more to her conversation with Lucky. Lucky told Liz that he wanted her and Nikolas to be together. Nikolas looks surprised but not unhappy with this information. Liz and Nikolas discussed Lucky's conversation on the docks with Liz a few days ago. Liz explained to him that Lucky wanted Elizabeth and Nikolas to be together. Nikolas told her that she must have misunderstood and that Lucky was still the same person he was a year ago. No, he literally was not.
No.
Liz said that she has stopped pretending that Lucky doesn't want her anymore. As they continued their dialogue, a police officer dragged eavesdropping Lucky out of his hiding place and told him that he had to come to the station for questioning. Liz and Nikolas were baffled by Lucky's behavior, but Nikolas offered to go to the police station with Lucky. Lucky told him to stay and take care of Elizabeth. Mac apologized to Lucky for not discovering the scheme and saving him. He said that he would make it up by putting the people responsible behind bars. Mac asked Lucky about Helena and Stefan's involvement in his kidnapping, and Lucky told Mac that Faison was responsible for the kidnapping and that he had worked alone. He also continued his assertion that Helena saved him from Faison and Stefan did not have anything to do with his abduction. Mac decided that there was no legal grounds for continuing the investigation, so he would have to close the case. Laura and Luke were outraged, and Luke threatened to kill Stefan while Mac listened on. Lucky told them that he is ready to put the last year behind him and move on with his life, so he was ready to sign his statement and leave. Laura told Lucky that she cannot totally let him go, but she will still give him the space if he wants it. The tension is thick enough to spread on toast with much glaring. Mac gets Lucky to sign his statement about the kidnapping despite Luke's vocal objections. The rather indignant parent utters one more menacing threat against Stefan and all Cassidines, then barges out, leaving his son to retread Helena's "What am I thinking?" his own version of his kidnapping. Much fun is had by both men as they bond over bashing Luke, and then they admit that they would both like to just put the whole year behind them, and Lucky then leaves to the cop shop. The cop shop? The police station?
Way. Yeah.
Nikolas and Elizabeth rehash their conversation about Lucky and Lucky's eavesdropping. After a few moments, however, the man himself shows up and displays some of that unhealthy paranoia in thinking that they were lying in wait for him. He tries to brush past them, but Nick stops him, demanding that he talk to them. Lucky has become aloof yet again, and Nick, fed up, leaves so that Lucky and Liz can work things out. Lucky insists again that Liz needs to move on, and she repeats that he won't make her give him up. And then he drops the bombshell. He recommends that she get over him because he's let her go. Liz doesn't like what Lucky's telling her and lets him know it. Unfortunately, he has said his piece, and with parting admonishment to stop loving him, he leaves her alone on the docks. After learning from Liz that Lucky suggested Liz and Nikolas should get together, Emily visits Lucky at his new residence, a room above Jake's. She demanded that he look her in the eyes and say he no longer loves Liz. He couldn't do it, of course. Emily's words got to him because he went to see Liz at her studio, where he apologized for trying to push her and Nikolas together. Lucky told Elizabeth that he gets mad and when his parents tell him how to feel, so he has no right to tell her how she should feel about Nikolas. Liz told him that she understands that he has been through a lot in the past year, and she still loves him. She told him that she meant her vows to him and that he needs to stop thinking and feel instead. She asked Lucky what she did to lose trust and faith in her, and Lucky replied that he does trust her. He told her that he believes her when she says she loves him. She is like a light to him that is so warm and comforting, but when he gets close to her, he slams into some invisible force. Elizabeth asks him if there is a wall between them now, and he kissed her. As they were kissing, a frantic Nikolas bursts into Liz's studio, and Liz shared the news concerning Stefan's disappearance and or murder and Luke's arrest. Lucky began asking some questions concerning the circumstances of his father's arrest, and Nikolas got irate. Nikolas screamed at Lucky for defending Luke and pointed out that Luke had threatened Stefan in front of them that day. Lucky left to go to the police station in search of some answers, and Nikolas turned his anger on Liz. He yelled that he was sick and tired of hearing about what Lucky needs. The man he has known as his father is missing and or dead, and no one seems to care. An upset Lucky ran into Helena at the docks and told her she should be the one getting investigated for this crime. She called out his name and told him to always remember to protect your queen, and the zombie Lucky reappeared. Nikolas hid in the shadows as he witnessed the whole scene. Nikolas interrupts them, yelling at his grandmother to get away from his brother.
I'm glad he picked up on it. Do you not hear the woman saying whatever words and that making the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Nikolas and Lucky have suddenly switched places in their own blame wars. Now Nikolas is giving Luke the benefit of the doubt while attacking Helena. Liz, who happens upon the discussion, hides and eavesdrops and hears Lucky comments on bringing whoever was responsible to justice, especially if it was his father. Nikolas replies that they had wanted to stay out of their parents' battles, at which point Liz makes herself known and defends Lucky. The man himself, fully under Helena's control again, steps clear out of the argument and again advocates all that is Nick to Liz. Distraught, Nick hardly notices and heads off to Windermere, leaving the couple alone. Liz immediately starts in on the "what's wrong with you?" but Lucky brushes her off again, telling her that she should be standing by Nikolas, not him. Liz picks up the weirdness that has become Lucky and asks if something happened. The boy is cool once more, however, and reiterates the same story about being different now and wanting her to find happiness with Nick. Liz is completely flummoxed and reminds him that a short time ago he kissed her, to which he responds that he wishes he hadn't. Ouch. Without parting cruelty, he leaves. Pre-nurses ball scenes, Amy runs into Liz and Nikolas backstage. Liz offers Nikolas a way out of going to the ball, but Nikolas wants to honor his obligation as Stefan would have wanted him to do it. Nikolas talks about how wonderful Stefan was. He doesn't want the Stefan-Luke thing to come between him and Lucky. And then Lucky stops by the Spencer house to see Lulu, but she's not there. Lucky and Laura rehash the Stefan-Luke situation. Lucky leaves after offering a parting shot at Laura that she should not be so busy defending Luke that she forgets to comfort Nikolas. Nikolas stops by to see Lucky. They talk about the Luke-Stefan ordeal. Nikolas breaks down and tells Lucky that Stefan wouldn't have just left him. Lucky reminds Nikolas that Stefan loves him. Nikolas reminds Lucky that both of his parents love him. Nikolas leaves. The final montage is of everyone getting ready to go. Some of the highlights. Lucky contemplates his tux, like he doesn't know if he's going to wear it or not.
He's probably just like looking it over. Like, oh, I mean, okay, so if he's being like a zombie, he's probably like, yeah, do I really have to wear this? You know?
And then Helena tries to look girlish. That's an odd sentence. Robin's arrived. Lucy comes out and welcomes everyone to the ball. All the gowns are beautiful. The men look great in their tuxes. They always look great in their tuxes. Lucy introduces Liz and congratulates her on the design of the year's Nurses Ball t-shirt. Lucy gives Liz a bouquet of flowers. Lucky arrives. Juan, Emily, and Liz sing and dance to Footloose. Afterwards, Liz follows Lucky outside and asks him to sit with her and Nikolas, Emily, and Juan. Lucky agrees, but first he's stopped by Helena and says that she looks beautiful. Nikolas and Liz don't like this. After the ball, Nikolas brings Liz back to her studio and says she says she wants to be alone so she can say goodbye to Lucky. Liz tells Nikolas that Lucky's feelings have changed towards her. She loves him so much that she can't stand in his way and needs to let him go. Liz tells Nikolas that Stefan would have been proud of him tonight at the nurses' ball. She was, and Nikolas leaves. Soon she hears someone trying to open the door to her studio. She gets a stick and hits the intruder over the head, only to realize it was Lucky. She drops down next to him to make sure he's okay. She apologizes for hitting him, and he apologizes for breaking in and says that he didn't know she was there and that he comes here at night sometimes. She asked why. Lucky tells Liz that he misses her and her brownies and bad coffee and sitting there quietly while she paints. She tells him he can stick around because she was going to paint. He says that he would like that. Lucky watches Liz paint and then thanks her for letting him watch and leaves. And then Bobby and Lucky have a long overdue reunion on the docks. Lucky surprises Bobby by telling her that Nikolas and Liz's relationship has grown to be much closer than friends. Helena interrupts them and Bobby fiercely is protective. At first, Lucky remains silent, but when Bobby accuses Helena of assisting Faison in Lucky's kidnapping, Lucky jumps to Helena's defense. And then Emily and Liz are talking, and in walks Lucky. Emily makes some lame excuse to leave. Lucky begins to talk about his captivity. He says that he wouldn't ask for anything so the guards wouldn't know what was important to him. He asks if Liz needs help closing. They clean up. Lucky plays their song on the jukebox, and he and Liz dance. And then Emily goes to talk to Elizabeth and tells her the story is that they are sleeping over. Elizabeth tells Nikolas that she wants to go to this party with Emily so that she can watch over her, so she invites Nikolas to come. Elizabeth tells Nikolas that she became closer to Lucky. Lucky overhears Nikolas and Liz talk and decides to come to the party. He really was like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucky sneaks into Luke's office and opens his safe. He searches through some passports, but Roy enters the office. Roy and Lucky introduce each other and discuss Roy's past. Roy also tells Lucky that he knows about his imprisonment. They joke about their common interests. Roy tells Lucky that he is Luke's partner. They discuss Lucky's plan to head out of town. Roy tells Lucky that there are some things that he should know about Luke. Roy tells Lucky that he respects Luke. Lucky tells Roy that Luke raped Laura. Roy tries to defend Luke and tell him that he would have never known that Luke raped Laura. Roy is baffled and surprised, but still believes that Luke loves Laura. Roy offers Lucky a job at Luke's place. Elizabeth comes by to see Audrey at the hospital to share some coffee and talk about Lucky. Liz tells Audrey that she accidentally hit Lucky. Elizabeth shares her fears that Lucky doesn't want her anymore. Audrey tells Elizabeth that true love can survive anything. Lucky gets angry over how Juan is only concerned with his own feelings and not Emily's. Nikolas points out that is exactly what Lucky has been doing to Elizabeth.
Yay.
Emily was such a good friend.
I know. And then at the rave, Juan gets some digs in about Emily not making up her mind. Meanwhile, Liz and Lucky have been waiting for Nikolas. When he finally arrives late at the studio, Lucky teasingly asks him if he's running on Prince time. They arrive at the rave just in time to see how harshly Juan is treating Em, and Lucky lets him have it. Juan retaliates by saying that Lucky is a mental case and is ruining Liz's life. He also makes a crack about the Quartermains. Emily gets drunk with some help from spiked drinks. Liz convinces her that they should leave, and they see Allison and Juan kissing. Emily runs into a stranger, Ted, and ends up leaving the rave with him. Liz, Nikolas, and Lucky searched the rave frantically for Emily when Ted took a drugged-out Emily to a motel. Liz blasts Juan for hurting Emily. The gang argue about whether to call the police, and Lucky is against it as the cops showing up will just scare everyone away, and he is sure someone must know where Ted is gone. The next day, a naked Emily wakes up next to Ted's lifeless body, holding a syringe in her hand. Lucky shows up at the motel. He promises to protect Emily and decides to get rid of the evidence in the room. Liz and Nikolas later arrive to help, but not before refusing to tell Juan where they were going. Liz and Lucky feared Emily had been raped and encouraged her to go to the clinic for an exam. Elizabeth brought Emily safely home and tries to get her to go to the women's clinic, but Emily is too afraid. Elizabeth reminded Emily about the dangers of possibly being raped, how it was important to get examined and not shower, to take the morning after pill, and to talk to a counselor to help her through this incident. Emily wanted to shower so badly. However, Elizabeth was able to convince her to wait until she could at least go to the clinic first thing in the morning. And now we're in July to September of 2000. Lucky and Nikolas tried to dispose of undercover cop Ted Wilson's body after a confrontation turned fatal. While hiding the body at Windermere, they narrowly avoided discovery by a hotel manager and later by Helena, who remained suspicious. Lucky insisted on keeping their actions secret to protect Elizabeth.
Because every penny counts. I travel further for less with the Hopper ticket.
Because making memories is important. I can afford to take the whole family on the bus or tram with family travel cards.
Because getting to work should be simple. I tap and go with contactless, so I'll be charged the best fare for the week all month.
The B Network is committed to keeping public transport affordable. Find out more at bnetwork.com/because. Because it's your B Network.
Despite the stress, Lucky tenderly supported Liz and reassured her, rekindling some of their bond. Meanwhile, Emily's crisis brought the group even closer as they dealt with a blackmail threat tied to Ted's death. Lucky took charge, devising a plan to trap the inexperienced blackmailer while juggling his own growing feelings for Liz. However, Helena manipulated Lucky into pushing Liz away, leaving her heartbroken and confused. In her despair, Liz confided in Sonny on the docks, unaware of Carly's jealous gaze. As the secret unraveled, tensions rose. Lucky and Nikolas's plan to catch the blackmailer hit complications, and Emily struggled with Juan's betrayal. Amid the chaos, Liz remained torn between her faith in Lucky and the distance he forced between them, wondering if they could ever find their way back to each other. Lucky and Liz's relationship. Liz struggles with Lucky's mixed signals as he insists they are better off apart but can't seem to stop interfering in her life. His jealousy flares when he catches Liz sharing moments of laughter and comfort with Sonny, fueling his frustrations despite his claims that they're no longer meant to be together. Now, Carly's sharp accusations that Liz is trying to replace her in Sonny's life only add to the tension, further complicating Liz's already fragile emotions. Liz finds solace in her unlikely friendship with Sonny. We don't really see them having a friendship anymore.
No, and it's just weird that Carly or Lucky would try to turn it into something different, because we were all creeped out whenever he started dating Emily because of that age difference. And then was like even more so like when this was happening between him and Liz, like absolutely not. Liz was way too young for him.
Yeah. She ultimately confronts him. Hold on. Oops, sorry. Having bonded over shared pain, Sonny losing his child and Liz coping with Lucky's presumed death and their strained reunion, they share a mutual understanding. Sonny offers Liz pragmatic advice, encouraging her to let go of Lucky if their relationship is causing more harm than good. Liz, in turn, admires Sonny's quiet strength and appreciates his ability to listen without judgment. Their connection becomes a source of comfort, though inadvertently provokes Lucky, who accuses Liz of turning to Sonny as a replacement. Despite her growing bond with Sunny, Liz's heart remains tied to Lucky. She ultimately confronts him, declaring she's letting go of her unrealistic dreams for their relationship, though the pain of doing so is evident. Lucky, torn between his unresolved love for Liz and his belief that they can't recapture what they once had, continues to push her towards Nikolas, believing his brother could be a much better match for her. Nikolas, however, sees through Lucky's deflections, urging him to be honest about his feelings for Liz. Meanwhile, Liz steps into a dangerous role in Lucky and Nikolas's investigation into Emily's blackmailer. Disguised as a census taker, she confronts Gia, a suspect with a complicated story that leaves more questions than answers. Liz and Emily grow closer through the ordeal, bonding over shared struggles in love and their determination to protect each other. Despite her efforts to move forward, Liz remains caught in the emotional push and pull with Lucky, unsure if either of them truly knows how to let go. And then, unbeknownst to Elizabeth, Helena's lingering brainwashing influenced his actions, causing him to push her towards Nikolas despite his true feelings. Elizabeth, still deeply in love with Lucky, struggled to understand his behavior. Her attempts to spark jealousy by kissing Nikolas fell flat when Lucky appeared indifferent, leaving her heartbroken and questioning their connection. However, their bond remained undeniable. Lucky frequently stepped in to protect her, particularly during a dangerous situation like the rave where Xander drugged her. During this harrowing night, as Elizabeth reeled from the effects of the drug, Lucky's concern brought them closer. He took her back to the studio and stayed by her side to ensure her safety. In the quiet moments that followed, Lucky finally opened up. He confessed his enduring love, telling Elizabeth that she still had his heart and always would. He revealed that he had wanted to reach out to her after his return, but felt an inexplicable barrier he couldn't overcome. As they reminisced about their shared past, they tenderly reaffirmed the vows they made in the church before Lucky was presumed dead in the fire. Their heartfelt exchange culminated in a kiss, with Elizabeth giddy and hopeful of their renewed romance. Tragically, when Liz woke up the next morning, the effects of the drug had erased her memory of their reconciliation. Lucky chose not to remind her of the confessions, fearing it would complicate things further. Instead, he pretended the night had been uneventful, quietly carrying the weight of his love for her. Elizabeth, unaware of what had transpired, accepted his narrative and resolved that they were just friends, leaving Lucky heartbroken yet determined to protect her in any way he could.
Poor Liz. Their relationship remained fraught with tension as Elizabeth sensed that Lucky's feelings ran deeper than he let on. Despite his best efforts to shield her from the truth, the love they shared lingered, creating an undercurrent of longing and unresolved emotion between them. Jason's return complicated things further. When he and Elizabeth bumped into each other on the docks, they shared a warm hug, and Elizabeth quickly filled him in on Lucky's return. Jason was happy to hear Lucky was alive, but Elizabeth revealed the deeper issue. Lucky's on-again, off-again feelings for her were driving her crazy. Just as the conversation deepened, Lucky arrived and insisted the three of them, Lucky, Elizabeth, and Emily, head to Kelly's immediately. Elizabeth tried to protest, but Lucky's demands became more forceful. Jason, sensing something was wrong, was about to intervene, but Sunny arrived, allowing Emily to leave with her friends. The tension between them lingered. At Kelly's, Lucky's jealousy over Elizabeth's closeness with Jason was palpable. While Emily and Lucky tried to discuss his issues, they were both frustrated. Lucky wanted to be with Elizabeth, but couldn't express himself in a way that would bring them back together. Carly also warned Elizabeth to stay away from Jason, but Elizabeth was resolute in her choices. Carly, you can't claim everyone.
Right.
We've had this problem for years. You don't get Jason and Sunny.
Right.
Later, Elizabeth found herself torn between Lucky and Jason. During a rare moment alone with Jason, she climbed onto his motorcycle and they drove to the bridge. There, Jason opened up about his past, sharing how he had come to terms with his memories of Robin. They spoke about love, letting go, and healing with a touch of humor as Jason tried to teach Elizabeth how to bar fight. In that moment, there was peace between them. Meanwhile, Lucky struggled with his feelings for Elizabeth and his jealousy over her bond with Jason. Elizabeth, caught between the two men, was left questioning where her heart truly lay. The emotional tension continued as both Elizabeth and Lucky had to confront their feelings, unsure of what the future would hold. Dun, dun, dun. I wonder what the future will hold.
I have no idea.
Then it goes on to September 13th through January 30th. As Elizabeth tried to understand Lucky's struggles, she couldn't help but feel frustrated by his distance. Despite his intense feelings for her, Lucky's jealousy over Elizabeth's closeness with Jason strained their relationship. His unresolved trauma seemed to surface when he interacted with others, especially his family, making him feel like an outsider in his own life. He couldn't bring himself to tell Elizabeth that he loved her, leaving her uncertain of where they stood. Their journey to Albany to search for Emily brought them closer together, but the tension remained. They stayed in a motel room where Lucky admitted to Elizabeth that he was glad to be with her, but the shadow of Helena's influence loomed large. Lucky's occasional memory lapse, triggered by the phrase, "protect your queen," still haunted him. Elizabeth reassured him that they would fight Helena's control together no matter what. In Albany, while waiting by the bridge for Emily and Xander, Lucky and Elizabeth shared a tender moment, dancing together in the quiet of the night. It was a brief reprieve from the chaos that surrounded them, but it wasn't long before Lucky revealed the full extent of his feelings. He admitted that he loved her, a confession that left Elizabeth stunned but hopeful. They both knew, however, that they had to confront the darkness in Lucky's mind before they could fully embrace their future together. Meanwhile, Helena's scheming continued behind the scenes. She was determined to keep Lucky under her control, even threatening Elizabeth's safety if necessary. Lucky's interaction with his family, particularly Nikolas, grew strained as they all tried to navigate the delicate balance of their relationships. Nikolas, while supportive of Lucky, couldn't help but feel conflicted about his brother's connection with Elizabeth. Lucky, on the other hand, struggled with his feelings for both Elizabeth and the weight of his family's expectations. Their search for Emily ultimately led to a tense standoff with Sorrell's henchmen, but Lucky refused to back down. He and Elizabeth, still unsure of how to navigate their feelings, leaned on each other for support. When Jason arrived, he insisted that they leave, but Lucky was determined to stay despite the danger. The tension between the three men, Lucky, Jason, and Nikolas, was palpable, but it was clear that Lucky's commitment to Elizabeth was unwavering. He was willing to fight for her, even if it meant risking everything. As Lucky and Elizabeth's bond deepened, they faced the challenges of dealing with their pasts while trying to move forward. Lucky's therapy with Kevin, focused on helping him recover from Faison and Helena's influence, provided a glimmer of hope, but there was still doubts and fears. Lucky's relationship with his father, Luke, was strained but improving as Luke began to realize the extent of his son's struggles. In the end, Lucky's relationship with Elizabeth became the one constant in his life. They supported each other through the darkest moments, from the emotional turmoil of Lucky's mind control to their search for Emily. Together, they began to rebuild their future one step at a time. Their love, though tested by external forces and internal struggles, remained their anchor, allowing them to face whatever came next, whether it was Helena's threats or the challenges of their past.
Lucky finds himself in a teasing mood after overhearing an argument between Nikolas and Gia about the shower mishap. He uses the opportunity to joke with his brother, suggesting he needs to find a new place to stay and offers to move in with him. However, after some thought, Lucky decides to rent a room at Kelly's, unsure of how Elizabeth might feel about him living across from her. Elizabeth is more than supportive, thinking it's a wonderful idea, and Lucky soon moves into his new space. Their connection grows stronger as they share small moments, like Lucky accidentally locking himself out of his room and Elizabeth coming to his rescue, giving him an unexpected and slightly embarrassing moment when he drops his towel in front of her. Despite the awkwardness, the chemistry between them is undeniable. As Lucky and Elizabeth spend more time together, the relationship deepens. Elizabeth surprises him with a key to her room, and in return, Lucky gives her a copy of his own key, symbolizing their growing trust and closeness. They have moments of tension and attraction, like when Lucky is shirtless while lifting weights, which Elizabeth struggles to ignore. They share a kiss, but Elizabeth pulls away, realizing she has to leave for work. Lucky's relationship with Elizabeth is tested by outside influences, such as his interaction with Nikolas. One day, Lucky visits Nikolas, who is struggling with family drama, particularly concerning his grandmother, Helena. During this visit, Lucky confides in Nikolas about his relationship with Liz, explaining they are wanting to make love, worried about potentially hurting her, as he did when he first returned to Port Charles. Nikolas offers his support, reassuring him that if they both agree, there is no reason to wait. This reassurance helps Lucky feel more confident about his relationship with Elizabeth. However, their connection is interrupted by a looming presence of Helena. After a tense confrontation with her, Gia stays to help protect Nikolas. Later, Lucky hears a crash coming from Elizabeth's room and rushes to find her wrapped in a towel. And despite the awkward situation, the sexual tension between them is palpable. They both feel the weight of their emotions, but are unable to act on them at the moment. Then at Carly's bridal shower, Elizabeth and Emily find themselves uncomfortable with the tension between them and Carly, especially when Carly makes a pointed comment about Lucky's feelings towards Elizabeth. Despite this, Elizabeth remains supportive of Emily, who has been dealing with her own relationship issues, particularly with Juan. Elizabeth later has a candid conversation with Emily about birth control and sexual readiness, signaling that she is preparing herself for a deeper commitment with Lucky. That is what she said. When Liz and Lucky find themselves in a more intimate setting, the nervousness about making love becomes apparent. The fire alarm interrupts their moment, and Liz recalls the traumatic memory of the fire that killed Lucky. This event underscores how deeply their pasts still affect them, but it also strengthens their bond as they share their fears and insecurities. Lucky, in a sweet gesture, brings Elizabeth 16 white roses, one for every month they were apart, and invites her to a romantic getaway where they finally have a chance to be fully together. The trip to a cozy inn marks a new chapter in their relationship as they share their first intimate experience. Though nervous and a little awkward, their love is tender and sincere, solidifying their emotions and physical connection. Elizabeth expresses her devotion to Lucky with her heart-filled words, "My soul, body, and spirit will love you forever." They continue to have special moments, such as when Elizabeth closed Kelly's early with Bobby's permission to plan a special evening with Lucky. The two enjoyed a candlelight dinner and danced to the tunes from the jukebox and eventually retreated to the privacy of their upstairs sanctuary. Their quiet evening was a welcome contrast to the tension of the outside world, where Lucky had just confronted Xander about his relationship with Emily. Lucky, the ever-protective friend, emphasized to Xander that Emily's happiness was paramount, but he also respected Xander's loyalty. In another scene, Elizabeth was encouraged by Laura to consider a career as the new face of deception, but Elizabeth hesitated, overwhelmed by the doubts about herself. Lucky, ever supportive, convinced her to give it a try, despite her fears of public appearances. As they picked out their Christmas tree together, they reminisced about their first holiday season, reaffirming their love for each other. At Alexis and Ned's wedding, Elizabeth's new opportunity with deception was brought up in front of Gia, who criticized her involvement with the campaign. Despite Gia's negativity, Elizabeth remained steadfast, and Lucky continued to reassure her. Their support for each other was evident when Lucky defended Elizabeth against Carly's harsh comments about her modeling career. Lucky's unwavering belief in Elizabeth helped push her forward with the best test shoot, despite her insecurities. The Christmas was filled with heartfelt gestures, including a surprise holiday-themed room Elizabeth decorated for Lucky. The evening ended with them exchanging thoughtful gifts and enjoying each other's company. It was a reminder of the deep emotional connection they shared. The couple's interactions with others, such as their playful banter with Nikolas and Gia, only underscored how well they understood each other. Whether they were sharing moments of joy or dealing with the drama of the people around them, like the confrontation with Gia over the face of deception role, Lucky and Elizabeth's bond remained unshakable. Even when faced with unexpected hurdles, such as Elizabeth's doubts about the modeling shoot, or the ongoing drama surrounding Emily and Xander, Lucky always stood by Elizabeth. He encouraged her to pursue her dreams while remaining a constant source of comfort and strength. They navigated the ups and downs of their relationship with friends and family, and through it all, their love continued to grow. Despite occasional bumps like Gia's jealousy and Carly's attempts to undermine Elizabeth, Lucky and Elizabeth's connection remained at the forefront. They supported each other through thick and thin, and though initially nervous, included during Elizabeth's photo shoot for deception. Though initially nervous and stiff, Elizabeth eventually found her confidence with Lucky's encouragement, proving just how deeply their bond was.
Aww.
And that's it. So yeah, we're getting to where Liz was becoming the face of deception.
Yeah. There's that whole back and forth with Gia. That was good.
Yeah. And Lucky was the photographer and all that stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that next week. Ooh, and I think that this also is when, yeah, we'll get into it. So join us on Monday as we recap this week's shows.
Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.